פורחת, מי בנה ומי נטע, כולנו ביחד. אני בניתי בית בארץ ישראל, אז יש לנו ארץ ויש לנו בית בארץ ישראל. ארץ ישראל שלי יפה וגם פורחת, מי בנה ומי נטע, כולנו ביחד. אני נטעתי עץ בארץ ישראל, אז יש לנו ארץ ויש לנו בית ויש לנו עץ בארץ ישראל. ארץ ישראל שלי יפה וגם פורחת, מי בנה ומי נטע, כולנו ביחד. אני סללתי כביש בארץ ישראל, אז יש לנו ארץ ויש לנו בית ויש לנו עץ ויש לנו כביש בארץ ישראל. ארץ ישראל שלי יפה וגם פורחת, מי בנה ומי נטע, כולנו ביחד. אני בניתי גשר בארץ ישראל, אז יש לנו ארץ ויש לנו בית ויש לנו עץ ויש לנו כביש ויש לנו גשר בארץ ישראל. ארץ ישראל שלי יפה וגם פורחת, מי בנה ומי נטע, כולנו ביחד. אני חיברתי שיר בארץ ישראל.
I, Cynthia, the daughter of Gabriel and Yocheved, am honored to kindle this torch for the 73rd Independence Day of Israel in honor of Eretz Israel. The coronavirus has allowed us to reflect and focus on our dreams, the biggest one being to live in Eretz Israel, our country, filled with our history and centered on living fully our Judaism. Today, we light this torch in honor of all those who have and will make Aliyah and the glory of Israel. Ultiferet Medinat Yisrael.
לנו גשר בארץ ישראל. ארץ ישראל שלי יפה וגם פורחת, מי בנה ומי נטע, כולנו ביחד. אני חיברתי שיר בארץ ישראל, אז יש לנו ארץ ויש לנו בית ויש לנו עץ ויש לנו כביש ויש לנו גשר ויש לנו שיר על ארץ ישראל.
My grandmother, Zechron Livracha, was a deeply, profoundly religious woman. From age 10 until age 20, I spent every Friday evening with my grandmother. We prayed together, we ate together, we sang Zmirot together, and we studied together. The Bible with Yiddishkeit, and then the Talmud.
He, in my memories, was always religious. He went to yeshiva from the time he began school. Even though my parents weren't religious, they sent him to yeshiva.
My mother was a bit upset. She would have preferred Harvard. Much to her chagrin, I became an Orthodox rabbi.
On the west side, there was a rebuilding of the west part of Manhattan, and a shul was being organized by a group of people, very bright and well-to-do and so forth. And they came to us for a rabbi. So I sent down Shlomo Riskin, and the results were obvious. They loved him. But they said to him, the condition is that you have to accept mixed seating of men and women in shul.
Two individuals for whom I had the utmost regard, my Rebbe, Rav Soloveitchik, and the Lubavitcher Rebbe, urged me to go to Lincoln Square. There was a great deal of trepidation in my heart, but also a great deal of excitement.
By the end of the year, Rabbi Riskin said to his community, his congregation, which may be a little larger than, I have to leave. Because, and he told them why, and they said, that's ridiculous. We love you. We want you to stay. So we'll put up a mechitza. And from that same group, that group built finally Lincoln Square Synagogue.
He made it into a remarkable center that was Makarev, young, intelligent, bright, well-to-do professionals, lawyers, engineers, doctors, who knew little about Yiddishkeit, or may knew something from an Orthodox family but forgot it. By the time he decided to make Aliyah, there was a whole world of institutions that were created by Shlomo Riskin. And it had a touch that was different from all others.
Then in the 60s, he was like the religious Elvis Presley. Everybody called him Stephen Wonder, and everybody was very attracted to him, and everybody became religious as a result of him. And then in terms of his own development, he realized the importance of making Aliyah.
Despite all of the success of Lincoln Square Synagogue, I understood during those years in America that whatever happens in the diaspora is merely a footnote to Jewish history. That the chapter headings are being written in Israel.
Rabbi Riskin's vision has always been limitless. He began at Lincoln Square by building a vibrant community, and then he did what many thought would be the impossible. He came to Efrat and built a world. He built thousands of communities through his graduates who came and brought his message to every corner of the globe. Rabbi Riskin is the greatest importer and exporter in the history of international business. He brings in by the thousands young people, older people, some with knowledge of Judaism, some with less knowledge of Judaism, and he takes their neshamot, their souls, their essences, and he infuses it with a type of Judaism that is personal, that is open, that is powerful.
I must say that the realization of the dream has been much greater than the dream itself was from the beginning. That's something which is very rare. That's something for which one must be very grateful to God. And I am very grateful.
Truly a pleasure to be speaking with the Jewish community of Montreal. I was giving lectures in Lincoln Square Synagogue on Eretz Yisrael. And in the middle of my lectures, one of my former students came over to me and said, Rebbe, you speak very beautifully about Eretz Yisrael, but you still live in New York. And I understood him very well. And then and there that evening, I began out of Lincoln Square in Lincoln Center in New York, in Manhattan, what we call Breshit Geula, the beginning of redemption. We got together a group to move to Efrat, to Israel. It was very exciting, and it's worked out beautifully, and we're a very growing metropolis now. Baruch Hashem. Hine anochi sholeach malach lefanecha Baderech. Kodesh Baruch Hu says, don't be afraid when you're on the way to Eretz Yisrael. Don't be afraid when you are Baderech. Anochi sholeach malach lefanecha Baderech la'aviyacha, in order to bring you el hamakom asher achinoti lach, to the place I've prepared for you, which is Eretz Yisrael. For 2,000 years, we remained in Galut. And we prayed. And the earlier generations prayed better than we did. And probably were much more religious than we are. But they were not zocheh to Eretz Yisrael. We were. And I believe this is precisely the reason. Because they just prayed in the Galut. You must pray on the way to Eretz Yisrael. While you're building Eretz Yisrael. While you're preparing Eretz Yisrael. And that's the secret. That's what God said very clearly to the Jewish people. You have to bring the redemption. You cannot just wait for the Mashiach, because the Mashiach is waiting for us. And we have to make the first move. It was on Pesach that God told the Jews, Daber el b'nei Yisrael v'yisau. So this is the period when you have to begin to prepare and to come to Eretz Yisrael. B'hatzlacha gedolah.
my name is Ezra, and welcome to Ink Inc., Israeli News Incorporated. Now, we don't sell the greatest printer ink, but we do give updates on the latest and greatest Israeli accomplishments daily. This is Few Jews with the News, the show where a few Jews tell you the news. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now, we have a special report for you all today. That's right, in celebration of Yom HaAtzmaut, we are going to count down the most important Israeli achievements that have happened over the past year.
Yep, you heard it here, folks. We are much better than Dink Incorporated, the fake news network who only gives you the achievements of the past month. Since we're so much better in every possible way, you can expect to know everything you need to know about Israel in the past year. I'm Sarah, and here's the Yom HaAtzmaut report. We have some corona news. Now, while this year we couldn't do all the touring we wanted, it may have been for the better, as Israel has done better than any other country in terms of vaccinations. In December, Israel started vaccinating its citizens with the Pfizer vaccine, starting with Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu.
Bibi.
Be quiet, Ezra, I'm on a roll. Anyways, Israel has done so well with their vaccines that they now have more shots to give people than people to get them. They have the most people vaccinated per capita and have given more vaccines than the amount of people in the country. What an excellent time to be an Israeli, huh, Varishas?
Yalla, yalla, ken falafel!
Wise words from Elin Sivan. In other news, Israel has made great advancements in the realm of peace. Countries such as Bahrain, Sudan, United Arab Emirates, and Morocco have all made peace agreements with Israel in the past year. Now you can even fly to Dubai and see a kosher restaurant there. Maybe your plane will even have United Arab Emirates flags on it celebrating the deal.
Wow, peace is the coolest! Not only did we achieve the ultimate 70s hippie dream, aka peace and love, but we also did wonders for the economy. Sadly, Corona ruined a lot of economies around the world, but Israel was able to work through that, all to achieve one of the lowest drops in the world. A 1.1% decline for our financial experts out there. They also signed $15.4 billion in exit deals. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a lot of dollars. Lastly, Tesla, the famous electric car company, started manufacturing in Israel, because Elon Musk just needed the extra cash, of course.
Yeah, Sarah's an expert in these financial matters. Don't ask her how. Anywho, time for some entertainment. Since we've been incredibly boring thus far, I'm here to talk about some exciting Israeli accomplishments to compensate for that. In the world of sports, the Tel Aviv Maccabi team won first in the Israeli football, or soccer if you're a normal person, league. Also, Deni Avdia, an Israeli, was drafted to the NBA. And, on the small screen, the Israeli drama Orthodox earned a nomination for a Golden Globe Award for its actress Shira Haas. Go Israel!
Wow, Ezra, for an entertainment section, that sure was boring. Finally, on to the last category that doesn't have a category because they're all too random, like space! The OPEC-16 spy and photography satellite manufactured by IAI was successfully launched into space using a Shavit satellite launcher from the Palmach Air Force Base. If you didn't understand a word of that, it's okay, because neither did I. On the plus side, more space! Eitan Svita is the second Israeli astronaut to be going to space ever, second only to the icon himself, Ilan Ramon. Now, do we have any martial arts fans here? Because if so, you'll be excited to know that an Iranian judo fighter landed in the country peacefully. No fighting here, karate or otherwise.
Let me finish this one off for you, Sarah. You seem kind of out of it right now. Some other interesting things happened in the Holy Land over the past year. For example, the first Ethiopian Israeli represented Israel in the famous Eurovision Song Contest. Also, for one of the first times in recent history...
Sorry to interrupt you, Ezra, but this is very important. Hi, I'm Slomo, and I'm here to bring you a lightning-quick weather report. We are 20% accurate, twice as good as the next best news station. The weather this week is looking like... rain? Whoa, it looks like I was right. Also, the Kinneret didn't lose a single inch this year. Congrats for you, Kinneret. That's it, back to you, Ezra.
I don't have anything else to say.
Mom, stop calling me, I'm doing a news report. Okay, well, I'll finish instead. So that about wraps it up. We hope you enjoy your Yom HaAtzmaut and keep in mind these amazing accomplishments. You probably Israel loved that. I know I did.
How past to present swiftly turns, and how my soul inside still yearns. Above Masada comes the sun, prayer to Jerusalem shall run.
From the Kinneret and Aksiv to celebrating Tel Aviv.
My father wished upon a well that we all meet in Israel. And now my child is asking me how this land has come to be.
This is home, this is heart.
We will never be apart.
Our parents are the roots.
We the flowers, we are music, note by note. Shevet Achim v'Achayot.
I, Emmanuel Soray, son of Michael and Batya, am honored to kindle the torch of the 73rd Independence Day of Israel, in honor of Torah Israel.
Daughter of David and Leah, am honored to kindle this torch for the 73rd Independence Day of Israel, in honor of Torah Israel.
Next year, my friends and I will be going on a new adventure, studying Torah in Israel, taking on new challenges while expressing our leadership skills to those around us.
And the glory of the state of Israel, Uletiferet Medidat Israel.
In my mother's eyes I see a place that's always right for me.
On the guitar somebody plays
An ancient song to guide my way.
This is home, this is heart. We will never be apart. Our parents are the roots. We the flowers, we are music, note by note. Shevet Achim v'Achayot.
And to the glory of the state of Israel, Uletiferet Medidat Israel.
Shevet Achim v'Achayot.
Shevet Achim v'Achayot.
אחרי 7.5 שנים סיימנו את הש"ס. הדרן הלך.
בבית יש לי 3 סטים של הש"ס. אחד זה תלמוד שאבי קיבל כמתנת בר מצווה שלו. השני, אני ובעלי קיבלנו כמתנת נישואין שלנו, כי שנינו למדנו גמרא יחד. השלישי הוא הסט של העתיד, התלמוד שהענקנו לביתנו חני לפני כשנה. לא עוד ספר נעול בפנינו, אלא כל אחת ואחת יכולה ללמוד. סיום הש"ס העולמי לנשים. שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
דברי חכמים כדורבנות. חז"ל במדרש קהלת רבה אומרים חדורבנות זה כדור של בנות. יגול עפר מעיניך הדרשן של קהלת רבה. תראה חבורה של בנות יחד כתף אל כתף שמחות בתורה, משתעשעות בה, לא מוותרות על אף מילה. תראו אתכם, 3,300 נשים באו הערב לחגוג כאן.
דף יומי זה דרך נפלאה להפוך להיות חלק מהסיפור הזה של בית מדרש, מהסיפור הזה של לימוד תורה בעם ישראל. זה למצוא איפה הקדוש ברוך הוא מתחבא שם בתוך המילים.
אני מתפללת שבזכות הדף היומי נתרגל לשאול על כל מעשה שלנו, לא רק האם עשינו אותו והאם יצאנו ידי חובה, אלא איך עשינו אותו, וממילא מה הוא יצר בתוך החיים שלנו.
והמחשבות שלי לוקחות אותי עוד לפני שבאתי לפה ובטח עכשיו קצת לאבא שלי, גם לו וגם לרב סולובייצ'יק שבחר ללמד נשים גמרא בשנות ה-60 באמריקה. ומודה לך בשמן של בנות ישראל על פתיחת שערי תורה ואמונה בפשטות ובגדולה. ואני חושבת שזה לא כל כך מה שהם חשבו על נשים, זה מה שהם חשבו על לימוד תורה. אני חושבת שהם לא יכלו לדמיין עובדי ועובדות השם שלא לומדים תורה. כשהשערים נפתחו בת בתוכם.
The Gemara tells us of a moment in the time of Rabban Gamliel when the doors of the Beit Midrash were opened and Judaism became a democracy of learning, not just an aristocracy of one. Today, the doors of the Beit Midrash have opened in this new sense, and this too is an epoch-making event. This really is making history.
נשים שמחדשות חידושי תורה ומעניקות רובד חדש לטקסטים היהודיים. הפוך בה והפוך בה וכולה בה. ואתה עליו מסכת נידה ותמות בריא ואתה עליו.
כל מי שסיימה ש"ס, זה הזמן לעמוד ולהגיד איתנו.
יהי רצון בפניך. ונהיה אנחנו כולנו צאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בישראל. לעולם לא אשכח פקודיך כי בם כי איתנו. אמן, 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 ישראל ואל. בשם שעזרתנו לסיים מסכת נידה בתלמוד בבלי, כן תעזרנו להתחיל מסכתות בספרים אחרים ולסיימם. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
יכול להיות שהגענו אנחנו לשלב שאנחנו כבר לא שלמות בלי לימוד התורה הזה, ושהקדוש ברוך הוא יראה את המאמץ שלנו וייתן לנו אותה במתנה.
מתנות קטנות, מישהו שלח לי מתנות קטנות.
Hi, it's David Torchman from Merci Muffins. I want to thank Yair and Alyssa Myers, as well as Shiri Tamam, for this great grassroots organization. I want to thank all of the volunteers that have been baking cookies and muffins and doing it all just to thank our frontline workers throughout our community. Thank you.
מה עוד אפשר כבר לבקש?
I, Alyssa Grenstein, daughter of Rona and the late Harry Grenstein, am honored to kindle this torch for the 73rd Independence Day of Israel in honor of Am Yisrael. About a year ago, when the pandemic hit, a group of individuals gathered together and started Merci Muffins. Hundreds of baked goods were delivered on a weekly basis to frontline and essential workers and are still being delivered now. Kids were making pictures and cards, and they were being delivered to senior residents' homes. Us, as a community, as Am Yisrael, we need to gather together and support and show appreciation to one another during this most difficult time. And to the glory of the State of Israel, Uletiferet Medinat Israel.
את מה שאין, את מה שיש, מה עוד אפשר כבר לבקש? מתנות קטנות. זה הבית, הוא בית טוב, זו הארץ שרצינו עד מאוד. זה הבית ונאמר אהלן, שלום עליכם לכל מי שבא לכאן. זה הבית, הוא בית חם, מגיעים אליו מכל קצוות עולם. זה הבית, הוא בית אוהב, וגם אם התרחקנו נשאר ותוך בתוך הלב. זה המקום, החלום, זה חלום שהוא ישן וגם חדש. זה המקום, החלום, עוד נעלה לשם ברגל לבקר את המקדש. זה המקום, החלום, זה חלום מתוק זבת חלב ודבש. זה המקום, החלום, עוד נעלה לשם ברגל לבקר את המקדש. זה הבית, הוא בית טוב, זו הארץ שרצינו עד מאוד. זה הבית ונאמר אהלן, שלום עליכם לכל מי שבא לכאן. זה הבית, הוא בית חם, מגיעים אליו מכל קצוות עולם. זה הבית, הוא בית אוהב, וגם אם התרחקנו נשאר בתוך הלב. זה המקום, החלום, זה חלום שהוא ישן וגם חדש. זה המקום, החלום,
אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו, ברך את מדינת ישראל, ראשית צמיחת גאולתנו.
הגן עליה בעברת חסדך, ופרוס עליה סוכת שלומך. ושלח אורך ועמיתך לראשיה, שריה ויועציה, ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך.
חזק את ידי מגיני ארץ קודשנו, והנחילם אלוהינו ישועה, ועטרת ניצחון תעטרם.
ונתת שלום בארץ, ושמחת עולם ליושביה, ותחנו כל בית ישראל, פקודנה בכל ארצות פזוריהם.
ותוליכם מהרה קוממיות לציון עירך, לירושלים משכן שמך, ככתוב בתורת משה עבדיך, מיין נידחך בקצה השמיים, משם יקבצך אדוני אלוהיך, ומשם ייקחך.
והביאך אדוני אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר ירשו אבותיך, וירשת ויטיבך, וירבך מאבותיך. ומל אדוני אלוהיך את לבבך ואת לבב זרעך, לאהבה את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך, למען חייך.
ויחד לבבנו לאהבה וליראה את שמך, ולשמור את כל דברי תורתך. ושלח לנו מהרה בן דוד משיח צדקך, לפדות מחכי קץ ישועתך.
הופע באדר גאון עוזך על כל יושבי תבל ארצך, ויאמר כל אשר נשמה באפו, אדוני אלוהי ישראל מלך, ומלכותו בכל משלה, אמן סלע.